Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter where you sit. It's a pleasure to have you here on the Abundance Blueprint with Kimberly. I'm your host, Kimberly Lane Roberts, and this is the show where I interview driven men and women who take their passion and turn it into their purpose. You are in the right space and place if you want to listen on the wonderful, adventurous conversation we're going to be having with Hayley on how to create a loyal travel community. Build your own bubble, so to speak, and invite the world, I'd like to say. So stay tuned for that. As always, people wonder what I'm up to. If you are an entrepreneur and you are looking for a peer group that can help support you making the big decisions that can change your business, or you want to have somebody that keeps you accountable, or you need community, or you're tired of being chief everything officer, this might be the group for you. Please reach out to me at performanceleadershipintl.com, fill out the contact form, and let's have a conversation. Okay, back to the show. Let's talk about Hayley. Hayley Melidonis, the CEO of Bubbl. Bubbl provides both a marketplace to find and book trips, plus the tools to run your own bubble. And she's going to tell us a lot about that. She left Uber in September of 2023 to become founder and CEO of Bubbl, her second travel entrepreneur journey. It's again a revolutionary new platform to enable the evolution of social travel beyond sharing a place in someone else's home, and to build your own bubble so you can invite the world. Let's meet Melinda. I'm sorry, Hayley. Sorry, Hayley. I just talked to Melinda. So sorry about that, Hayley. Right. Come on up.
Hi. Hi, Kimberly. How are you?
Good. How are you doing, my dear?
Great to be here today. Thank you for
Great to have you here. It's so wonderful to have you. And by the way, she speaks French, Japanese, and Australian. Is that correct?
Yeah, Australian and now American.
Wow. So you can talk to her, and you have several times opportunity to talk to her, and we'll put that in the show notes for you so you can catch up with her. So as always, I ask all my guests, what does abundance mean to you? And you shared that it means having the feeling that I'm full of spirit and free to pursue my desires. What inspired you to share that? Why is that so meaningful for you?
Yeah, because I just think I never thought that money was a barrier to many of the things I've done in my life. So many of the things that I think other people put money as a barrier for, like travel, or in my case, heli skiing. Yeah, no, sure, you do have to have some money, but I always think anything I wanted to do, I always did. And how did I do it? Well, I just worked out how to do it. Like, for example, when I traveled the world, we did it with van life. We did it with, we went somewhere, we hustled, we got a job, so I was able to kind of go anywhere and do anything, and that sense of freedom and certain things I had to really strive for. The first time I went to Burning Man, there's a bit of effort involved, but I got there and I landed I landed at Burning Man with an esky and an esky's a chiller on a bus. I got there. I didn't even have a car, but I got there, so you can just, full of spirit means just, if I think it's something, oh yeah, I want to do that, then I usually do it.
You can make it happen, and you make choices, and maybe it's not the accommodation for everybody else, but you got it. You made a dream come true. It's all about intention and making it happen, finding a way, I believe, right? So,
Yes.
You were so cute when I was preparing for the show. Your pivotal moment, you believe it was you. I think that's awesome. And no, that's not egotistical. I think it's very prideful. And it's like, you're a strong, determined person, and you've got the drive. You're very curious. You follow your curiosity, and you want to make it happen. So tell me more about that. Or is there an experience around that?
Yeah. Well, I just think, again, I'm going to go back to travel, and it's ironically, I'm the perfect founder for a travel startup, but travel is all about the unknown, right? And I think that's probably why it suits me, because I'm very curious. And so if you're a curious person, again, we were talking about you seek, you make it happen. I go out and ask questions, and I find people who know more than me, and I learn from them. And honestly, that's the ethos under which I built Bubbl. It's like you go and hang with people who know more than you or find out more than you and learn from them, and then copy paste and learn and move on. And I think that's just I didn't have one mentor, because how could I? There's just so many things to do in life. Obviously, you have different mentors for different things. And they're definitely influential people. I think my parents were influential because they put the spirit of travel and all the things that I love doing in me. But they certainly weren't my mentors in business, for example, because my parents didn't do their own business. So I just think I had to go out and explore and find that for myself.
Yeah, good for you. Yeah. And we all are our parents' children in some way, and that is demonstrated in who we become. So good for you. I'm curious, what truly inspired Bubbl?
I think it was 4 things, honestly, and it really came together in a thing. One was that I was an analog nomad, not digital, analog, for a couple of years. Yeah, I coined the term. The second thing was I solo traveled for a very long time. I was, not married for a very long time, and I would just have to make it happen. And it was always a lonely thing of like, okay, there's no tour to Barcelona I can go on. So like, what am I going to do and who am I going to hang out with? So if I want to go there for the weekend. The third thing was my travel company, my heli ski business. I realized that people getting together and co-living in a lodge situation, even rich people loved it. The fourth thing was running my ski houses. And then there's a fifth thing is really cool. But the ski houses was I ran for 8 years in Lake Tahoe, these share ski cabins. That's where I learned that people love the experience, but it was hard to organize. So I solved that. This idea of sharing a cabin or sharing a house or in a hotel room. The fifth one is the best. I met my husband in a Bubbl.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Really, yes, really.
Tell
And
us the story.
it wasn't one of the ones I ran. It was someone else's.
Wow.
So yeah, so that's fundamental. Like that was a really, because people used to always hook up in my bubbles, my houses. I'm like, hang on, wait. And then one year, what they say when you least expect it, I met my husband in a Bubbl. So 5 things went into me really building Bubbl, and they all have meaning. Traveling, sharing experience like heli skiing, and meeting other people like your husband, and then just like the logistics of running something and, thankless task. Well, I've made it thankful, hopefully, by creating the platform that people can lead and organize and earn on.
I think you have. Are there any companies or people or events that have leveraged your platform or created their own bubble, just kind of just a story to tell, to help people understand kind of how the platform works and how they use it and how you leverage it?
Yeah, well, I shared like we had a rock star lead a Bubbl already, and we've only been in business 6 months.
Wow.
For Art Basel, which is the big art fair. We had Scott Page from Pink Floyd. He was a saxophonist for some time with Pink Floyd, and he ran a Bubbl. He ran a private concert. There was a sort of a side event within Art Basel, and he played the saxophone for that, and he led a Bubbl, and he gave his, like, he loved it, the fact that it was all shared, and so that was super cool. And then we've had like Startup Grind, and we've done Coachella Bubbles and South by Southwest. We partnered with Startup Grind, so we're starting to partner with events. And in fact, can't really announce it yet, but we've got someone who does events with the UN, and they want to use Bubbl. So it'll be very interesting if we can get, because of the high touch part of
Yes.
running your Bubbl,
Yeah.
and the inclusion piece,
Yes. So how hard is it to create your own bubble?
It takes about 5 minutes. It's going to take less time when we, build our AI first agent, which we're building. It really only takes a few minutes. The hardest part is probably putting the pictures in. Creating the Bubble's easy, and ideating it. And even if you don't have a property, you can still build a Bubbl. It's all about the idea, manifesting, like, what's the thing that you want to do. And really, it's based on what you want to do. Like when I ran my Bubbl, I'm like, what house do I want? Like, what's the experience? Very selfish. And like, can I share this, and will other people want to do it? And you can Bubbl for events, vacations. You can do workshops. You can educate. The 2 Y's of Bubbl were connect with people and learn and grow.
Nice.
That's the 2 Y's. So anything that fits within that realm, go for it.
That's beautiful.
Enjoy. That's the other thing.
No, I'm gonna look into checking them out and creating my own Bubbl. Good. Yeah, I love it.
Bubbl. Yeah.
Why the name Bubbl? Just I mean, I get it, but I just kind of, what was the meaning behind that for you?
So I had been running ski houses for 8 years, 6 years before the penny dropped. I'm like, oh, that's the idea that's been under my nose. It was post-COVID. I ran 2 houses in COVID. One, the first house where we got cut off with COVID, and the second one with vaccines. We had like a big waiver, and we do deal with liability and Bubbl as well. But I called it Bubbl because I thought of it one night, and I told my husband I found the idea that I moved to the US for, and he said, what is it? And what are you going to call it? And I said, I don't know. And then I woke up the next morning and I said, I know what it's going to be called. It came to my dream. It's going to be called Bubbl, because with COVID, everyone knows what a Bubbl is. It's a global brand already. Unfortunately, it had a negative connotation, but I've turned it on its head.
You're turning to positive.
Yeah.
But it is kind of it's about close community. And sharing a common space, which so many of us did to some detriment during COVID. But it also breeds, if you work it the right way and you resolve conflict, or you create engaging experiences, and kindness and respect in that process, you can really maximize the bonding between people, even in a short amount of time. So,
but the other thing is, there's other things, like, for example, the subtle thing about Bubbles come and go, right?
Right.
up and go. They bubbles and pop and new ones come. Now, Bubbl is a pop-up co-living platform, and you are the product of all of your bubbles. So you will have bubbled lots of different times with different people, and your evolution of yourself comes from that. And this is before the concept of Bubbl. I'm just bringing it into a platform, but it's true. You are, your college roommates, you're this, you're that, like your family, you are the product of all of your bubbles, which is temporary in nature on purpose. So that's
it's a great. No, I knew there was some great meaning on
champagne, bubble baths. I mean, there's
bubble bath, champagne, hot tub.
One of our core values is fun. I used to work at Virgin, 2 years at Virgin. Can you tell? And it's really important that it's fun. So bubbles are fun.
Awesome. Great. Okay. And then what would you tell your younger self? And you shared, and again, I was chuckling when I was writing this, that have confidence that you're on the right path, even if you're not, because the ship will correct itself, provided it's not the Titanic, because you yourself become aware enough to correct it. But you also told your younger self that don't waste all that time on the men that were not qualified in your life that you spent so much time with. So lesson to all single women out there. We spend way too much time with men that aren't qualified. So wait for the best. Right. So, but tell me a little bit more about why that resonates with you. Why you shared that.
I don't think in my life I was a really good planner of anything, although things have worked out. I didn't sit there and strategize my career at all. I kind of went with the flow, and maybe that was a mistake. Maybe in the past I would have, but then when I think about it, ultimately who I am, I was quite authentic and true to myself. So I'm just someone that I'm an opportunist. I'm curious. I could not have kissed ass. I mean, it's well known. I'm not.
You're not. You're there. That would not be how I would describe you at all. You are a fire.
I followed my freedom, and ultimately my freedom took me here to create Bubbl. And I'm honestly the perfect qualified person to build Bubbl. I know I am. I know it was my mission. So I just feel you shouldn't worry about things. And look, my father often says to me, just get out of the bad air. You're in some bad air. He used to glide, right? And it's like riding the ship. Okay, someone taught me to mountain bike, and they said, just look ahead. I was panicking about mountain biking, and I can ski, but I didn't want to get my knees grazed. So and he said, no, you just look ahead, and what's going to happen is your brain's going to adjust to what's going on underneath. And I'm like, wow. And it actually worked.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Worked. Yeah, it worked. Within reason, it worked. I'm like, oh, interesting. You look ahead, and it's like you right the ship. Now, I don't think I did live to that. I don't think I did look enough ahead, but the world took me in really some great places. And I've also had some really dark years, really, especially since I've been in the States. But in the end, you think about the lessons and what they taught you and where they took you. There might be something to be said for you are where you, what is it, that thing where they say you are where you need to be, or
you're always in the right, where you are is in the right place, or where you are in the place in your journey in your life where you should be. You didn't make, you're not too late. You're not too early. You're exactly where you need to be. This is where you're supposed to be living. This is the right moment for you. You did nothing wrong. So many people oh, I should have been here earlier. No, you weren't ready. It's happening and unfolding exactly the way it's supposed to. You're right here where you need to be. So
but you look at, you look at people and go, God, this person's CEO there, and this person climbed their way up the corporate ladder. And I think, God, I know I could have done that. I could have been that. I was smart enough. I taught my university, but I didn't. But I did all those other things. And I really think the gift I'm going to give the world is literally how to have fun, enjoy yourself, spend your money, actually get the most out of life, and don't just work to live. Don't just live to work to live. At the moment, I am living to work, FYI, but normally I don't.
No, well, that you're in a start of it, so that makes sense. But I think what people, I coach a lot of executives, and I've coached people that are extremely, extremely beyond wealthy, that you think, well, they have the right to be just wow, private jet and have everything. But you know what? Money doesn't buy happiness. Right. It doesn't. And for them, it's a curse, because they're constantly chasing more money and the next thing and the next thing. And until they can be present where they're at and enjoy the relationships around them, that's what's going to give them the true joy. That's what's going to create the legacy, whether it's relationships with employees, with their partner, with their kids. But it's really, and so you're creating that relationship, you're creating that community, you're creating the connection, because as human beings, that's how we survive. We're meant to be connected. That's why COVID hurt so many of us, because so many of us were isolated, and you're trying to reinforce that human need for community and laughter and fun and joy and traveling and adventuring and being curious. So good for you. Good.
Yeah. And it was funny. I was at Shack 15 last night, and I literally sat down to charge my phone. I sat next to a billionaire. He was a very senior NVIDIA person for 20 years. So you can only imagine how many jets he's got. In fact, he told me how many jets he's got. But, of course, I asked him to invest, but hey. No, it was a really great conversation. We spoke for about an hour, all about like life and people. And I worked at Intel. He asked me things about that. And, we basically gelled on this whole idea of like, you are your reputation, and
Mhm.
and all that. And I don't know, it was quite an interesting conversation. Not every day you sort of sit there and spend an hour talking to a billionaire, but it was quite interesting. And
No.
he was no different to me, and we had a lot of interesting things to share. And dare I say, he wants to go heli skiing. He hasn't yet, and I'm like, why haven't you? Why haven't you?
So you're gonna set him up. He's gonna create his own bubble, right?
Well, my first business is Total Heliski. It's a heliski travel company. So on two fronts, yeah, yeah,
Wonderful, wonderful.
yeah.
Well, Hayley, this has been delightful, exciting, and fun. Very adventuresome. You've just got this great energy. I can't wait to get my own bubble created. We'll have all your contact information in the show notes. I'm going to have to drop you down to the green room right now to close out the show. So go have a mocktail or a cocktail or whatever what floats your boat, and I'll talk to you in just a second. Hold tight, okay?
Thank you. Thanks again for having
Great.
me.
All right, my pleasure. Bye for now.
Bye.
Wow, that was so adventuresome. I just love her energy, and just a fun person. I think I could just hang out with her for a couple hours and have a good time. If you are looking to thrive in 2025 and not just survive, you might want to consider having a conversation with me, complimentary, for 30 minutes, and let's look how we can manifest your dreams into reality. I can say getting a bubble created might be a great way to get a community of friends, do something fun, and have a good time. So I'm going to say bye for now. You can find us every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, and right here on YouTube. Bye for now.